For those of us doing inbound sales and marketing, we all want to hear the stories of other businesses who have been through the journey and are now experiencing the rewards that your business can get from doing inbound. In this episode of Solving Inbound, we'll tell the inbound marketing journey of Dental ClaimSupport, a dental billing and credentialing company from Georgia, with special guests Ryan, Davy, and Josh. Let's do it. Welcome back to another episode of Solving Inbound. My name is Connor Delaney, joined by John Becker, and we have a slew of nice new guests today joining us from Dental ClaimSupport. We have Ryan, Davy, and Josh. So guys, to kick things off, let's go around the room and make sure that our audience knows who we're actually talking to today and what brings Dental ClaimSupport here. So Ryan, why don't we throw it over to you? Tell us a little bit about what Dental ClaimSupport does and then what your role at the company is.
Thank you, Connor and John. We appreciate being here, with you guys. Impact has been great to us. But we are a dental billing company ensuring dentists get paid by eliminating insurance strain. We remote into dental practices and work their insurance agent reports and post payments and make sure they get paid. We got a remote team all over the country along with an in-house team. And, we love what we do. We love dental billing and love educating the dentists, in the community, in the arena.
Awesome. And Ryan, what's your role at Dental ClaimSupport?
So I am the CEO and co-owner of Dental ClaimSupport. So a lot of different hats, within it. I've done the sales. Davey he'll talk a little bit about obviously about the marketing, but mainly everything from business development, but mainly just, CEO right now, co-owner.
Running the business. Love it.
Yeah.
Now you teed up Davy pretty well. So Davy, why don't we hop to you next? What are you in charge of over at Dental ClaimSupport?
Yeah. So as well as being a co-owner with Ryan and Josh, I am the CMO, so Chief Marketing Officer. So right now in charge of the sales and marketing teams and also do a little HR on the side as well.
A little bit of hiring, a little bit of marketing, a little bit of everything. Seems like a lot of hats potentially across the board. But last but not least, Josh, why don't you fill us in? What are you responsible for these days?
Yeah, so Josh Smith, I am a Chief Operating Officer. Along with them, we have all pretty much worn a bunch of hats since we've been with Dental ClaimSupport. It started out with just 3 of us, and now there's hundreds of us. So it's actually a fun journey that we had. So yeah, co-owner and Chief Operating Officer, and I dabble in some training and some hiring.
Beautiful. So it seems like the story of most companies that may fall in your field. We start small and then we grow, and many hats to get to the success that we're at today. So why don't we go back to the story of just the 3 of you? Let's go back to when you first started the company. What did marketing look like for your organization as we were getting started?
I'll start with that. The marketing was kind of non-existent for us in the first few years. Essentially, Josh and I just kind of running the day-to-day operations. We were working the 40, 50 hours a week and didn't even have time to focus on the marketing aspect. Ryan running sales as well. Our marketing was really just kind of the referrals aspect at that point. We had a website put together. It wasn't the best website, but we had a website, and then that's essentially people were calling us type thing, just based on the website and referrals really for the first few years of the business.
Got it. So it was pretty much almost fully generated through that referral business, and I'm sure it was kind of somebody to get started, and you build that momentum from there. So why don't we hop into when did inbound marketing start? And I'm sure as a whole, that's a collective journey that you make a decision as a team. And so I'd love to jump to Ryan. When did inbound marketing really start for you, and when did it become at least of interest?
I don't really know technically when it started. I do know that we looked into hiring more sales, or we looked into different websites, and then we, basically just kind of just from a website. Davey, Josh, I don't really know when it really kicked off. We hired a company, and we didn't really see any difference within hiring the company or doing it ourselves from Google ads and Facebook ads and, things like that. But, Davey?
Yeah, I would say, after reading They Ask You Answer, we had a business coach recommend the book to us. And that's really when we started reflecting on what we should be doing marketing wise and the inbound aspect. We had never really done that before. Josh and I had written probably 3 or 4 blogs, maybe a year type thing, but nothing substantial or consistent at least. And then once we read They Ask You Answer, it was a mindset change for all 3 of us, really. And hiring our content manager in December of 2020 really kicked off the inbound marketing piece. And I would say in February of 2021 is really when she started with the 3 articles per week publishing, which really made a tremendous difference in our traffic since then.
So now we're recording this about a year after that. Talk about what that year has been like for you guys.
Well, the website traffic has been
Phenomenal.
10x, I'd say. It's been a wild ride, especially when you go back and look at the traffic in comparison to 2019, 2020. When we were doing, like Ryan said, like we were doing Google ads and Facebook ads kind of thing. The organic search accounts for close to 80% of our searches at this point, and we're hitting records every single month. For example, we're recording this in March. This is March 23rd, and we're going to have our best month ever in the month of March. Again, so we like saying that every single month that we had the best month ever in website visits. So again, we'll celebrate that again this month.
Yeah, that's the reoccurring theme, is the, breaking the new record every month as far as website traffic. And I'll be honest, Davey and I did write a few blogs, but I mean, I didn't know what an H1 or an H2 was at that point. We started at square one. We didn't have the knowledge. We had the dental billing knowledge, but we weren't necessarily writers or anything like that. But I mean, literally I was starting at square one and being consistent with it, following what the book said, to be 100% honest. And it was the buy-in, but after that, we stay consistent with it. Revamp the website. We might even get to that a little bit on this call, but it started at square one. I wouldn't say we were doing much of any inbound until we really took it seriously and had an actual approach to it, which was They Ask You Answer.
And to take it seriously really meant hiring that content manager. Even after reading the book, it was Josh and I trying to write those articles ourselves still, and also doing our other positions in the business, wearing too many hats. Now we definitely had the knowledge to write them, but we just didn't have the time to write and edit and do all the things. So hiring that content manager, I would say we wasted some time there by not hiring the content manager soon enough. And then once we made that commitment to hiring the content manager, that's when it really took off after that.
Seems like it happened pretty quick too. Listening to the timeline, you said you hired end of 2020, and by this time, 2021, it was already taking off. Was there any issues bringing on someone new to manage this? I'm sure that was a shift in terms of buy-in from across the organization. And maybe Ryan, from more the sales side, what did that look like for your team?
So, thinking about when we read the book, and then when we were looking at different marketing agencies, we asked one marketing agency, hey, have you read this book? And they didn't even know what we were talking about. And then we were talking to you guys, and we eventually obviously went with you guys. But the buy-in was key with everybody, because number one, we had them read the book. We had them kind of follow the process. We talked to them about where our vision was with the educational side, being the educational leaders. Whatever questions we get asked from the sales guys, we need to start writing about it. The cost article, which was a big shift in mindset from me as sales, to be honest with you, and throwing everything out there and, putting everything on the site so that your buyers could know everything about you, and have all the questions answered on the site, was, big for me, and the buy-in from the sales team and the different tactics, which we'll probably get into from assignment selling, assignment prospecting. But the biggest thing from the buy-in standpoint from us was we don't know everything and we're learning it too. So we're with you. We're all in this together to learn a new, marketing, theme. And so it was real easy to get, the team involved, the coaches that you guys, put in front of us, have been really, really, really great. And that's a key testament too, to, how the growth, has pretty much 10x for sure.
But it feels like they ask you answer, even though the results have come fairly quickly for you guys, and you had some kind of, some team buy-in initially, and obviously that's critical to get started, but it feels like I heard consistency, like that feels like an important message here, that you have to sort of trust the process, trust the principles, go all in and see it through. You're going to have ups and, maybe smaller ups or maybe downs, but talk about that consistency and that commitment.
Right. It wasn't immediate. I mean, it's not like everybody's going to rush to your website just because you hired, Marcus Sheridan and his team type thing. Right. So you said the word consistent. We followed what we needed to do. We wrote the top 5. One of the ones that I started out with problems with outsourced dental billing. I'll never forget it, because I'm like, man, it's tough writing about the problems. Like, I don't think there's many problems, but there are. If you sit down and you talk about it, no different than, Ryan talking about the cost article. But it was when we did hire the content manager. It was when we were getting 3 out a month, and really following that and focusing on making sure that was being completed every single week. And one article might do better than another article, right? But you're getting your name out there. People are starting to hear about you. And then all of a sudden, we literally saw the hockey stick. It wasn't for a few months, don't get me wrong, but we were getting the infrastructure. We were getting the consistency. We had our content team. We had alignment between marketing and sales. And that's exactly when it started to take off. But it took off without us actually immediately realizing it. We were just going on about our business. We were still getting accounts. We were still doing the day-to-day operations, but off to the side, there's a reason that was staying busy. And it was because of the commitment that we had toward the new marketing strategy that we were implementing.
I would just like to add that it's almost habitual at this point, right? That we publish 3 articles a week, no matter what. And our entire team knows that. We have a little bit of a content team around that helps, edits, writes. So it's a habit at this point. And if it doesn't happen, I don't know when the last time we haven't published articles week was. It's been a while. So again, creating that habit between everybody, between the whole team, everybody knows what's going on. Everybody helps out. Our revenue team meetings every Monday, we talk about articles. And John, to your question, it's at the beginning, it was like, how are we going to write that many articles about that? How are we going to come up with all these questions? And we're, I don't know, a year and a half in, and we have tons of stuff to write about. Tons of articles that we're continuing to write about, and ideas come up every single day for even on the video side too. So we have plenty of ideas in the tank, ready to write about for sure.
It's a new mindset and way to think, right? You don't have to, the ideas now just kind of come to you because you're thinking about it a different way. But it doesn't just stop at the articles. I mean, we started to, gather tons of email addresses and people that have subscribed to our content. And then, our content manager doesn't just write 3 articles a week. There's newsletters, there's website updates. There's this ton of stuff that she in particular is managing. And to everybody's point, again, we were like, oh, we don't need the content manager yet. We should have done it months ago by the time we did it. And that seems to be the recurring theme. I'm sure we'll talk about a videographer here soon. Same thing with a videographer. And we all sit here and, bust our heads against the wall. We're like, why don't we do that sooner? Why don't we do that sooner? You don't know what you don't know, but we can at least tell you, do it earlier than you think.
A great point. And I think now that you guys are a year into this consistent publication, they're also quickly you transition into, you have this huge library of content, and now things need to be updated or historically optimized to keep them at the top of Google search results and ranking well. Josh, would you keep going and talk a little bit about a videographer? Is that something you guys have done, are about to do, and what's your experience there?
I'll tell you where we started, and then I'm going to defer over to Davey, who actually is heading up, in a sense, videographer and weekly schedules and whatnot. But I was just shooting videos in here, or either on my computer, or if y'all see my wall behind me, trust me, it's like a horrible little horror scene from the 80s. Or on, an iPhone, and just we had our IT department editing videos, or I was editing videos, and I should not be doing that. So they were low quality at the same time as they still did well. It was still a good way for us to get a message out, and just to kind of be different and have a little bit of more variety in the content that we were putting out. And then we realized, we were like, okay, this has got to change one way or the other. It needs to be more professional. And again, we weren't getting the ideas. There's so much that a videographer does that we're like, they don't just shoot a video. There's so much more to it. And that's where I'll just go ahead and leave Davey with it.
Yeah. So we didn't hire a videographer until December 2021. So we're about 3 or 4 months in on that right now. And he is now producing 10 videos a month. And that's consistent. That's what we're doing. B-roll footage is always tough in an industry like we have in the dental industry. But other than that, optimize, like you just mentioned, optimizing the articles we've already written, going back to those and putting videos on those has been awesome. Creating a whole YouTube page at this point is awesome. So in today's world where everybody wants something in a short 2-minute video, 1 to 2 minute video, we now have that. And like Josh said, it took us a while. It took us between hiring a content manager and the videographer was about a year. And we probably should have done both sooner. And that's what the book tells us to do, is hire the videographer and hire the content manager. We delayed a little bit on those 2 things, but now they're paying dividends for us in the long term, versus what we were doing in the past, which was Google ads, Facebook ads, which is all sunk cost, right? We're not getting any dividends from those that we did 2 years ago, but we will continue to see that reverse hockey stick, as they call it, growth going forward.
We didn't do the videographer because we didn't really think that we needed to or had to. And so, that's kind of the funny part, is no one really wants to, and probably there's a little anxiety about being on camera. So, we have a guy come in here and shoot, and, those were kind of the startup videos. Then we saw the traction there, people watching the videos, and then we were still writing the content, still kind of gearing up. But, once we got pushed and, we hired the right videographer, and, now everybody's comfortable on camera. Sales is doing, Vidyard videos going into, not from the videographer, but, sending those out in email. That's, it's all been a plus from a video side, because we didn't, none of us have really been on videos. Solely Josh, and I feel bad. Josh was the guy. Okay, we'll get Josh to shoot this.
Josh was the guinea pig, right?
Yeah,
Get him in front of him.
We were doing an educational site that we launched. He was already shooting videos for, our hires, new hires, and from a training standpoint. So he was the easy guy. But anyway, now we all shoot. Now, we'll just go into, Andrew's room and shoot. I'll walk by and he's shooting stuff by himself, and he's, he just started. So it's awesome.
We built out we have now a studio in our office, so for shooting. So good stuff.
So hire the videographer.
So with all this stuff in place, with the content manager, with the videographer in place, Ryan, can you speak to now when prospects enter the sales process, especially those who come through organically? How is that different than it was before?
So, before they fill out a form, we pick up the phone and call. So now, with the Impact Way, the form, and then trying to get all the information, trying to send them, educational videos, educational articles, so that you can qualify, the buyer, and qualify the prospect. So that's different, for us. Assignment prospecting, they come to our site, or they didn't fill out a form, or, we're blasting, through HubSpot, trying to, automate. We want to automate, everything, so that when they do call, it's typically, they know everything, they've done their homework, they've watched the videos, they know what we do, so that all we're doing is closing, and understanding their practice a little more and deeper, and how we can help, help them grow their practice, essentially. I'll be honest, we don't have anybody beating the doors down. We don't have anybody in the field. Everybody comes to us, schedules a meeting, and, we go everything through Zoom. We transitioned that whole process as well. We don't make any phone calls anymore. They schedule a call through Zoom. We don't typically take a call if they aren't on Zoom with us, because we want to, and that's the way too, is be personable, understand them, make sure that, we are a great fit for each other. And so, the culture is big with us, and we don't take every client that calls us. So I'm not a little long-winded there, but it's changed dramatically, complete 180. The sales team has changed, and Tyler's taking the bull by the horns with Chris's leadership, and Davy's now. And so it's changed dramatically.
Pretty unreal to hear that you've gone, from phone calls to Zoom too. Take us through what that video journey was, because I'm sure, adopting the video, like you said, we were throwing Josh in front of the camera, but what did that look like from the sales side of just convincing people video? You have to become comfortable on it. How'd you get that going?
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think COVID helped with that, with Zoom, obviously, with the growth of Zoom over since March of 2020, right? So I think everybody's more accustomed to Zoom now. So that really helped us with that. Zoom's now, I think, in every household essentially. So that really helped. But to Ryan's point, everybody's coming over. They're definitely more qualified leads. Mm-hmm. They're more educated when we talk to them, and they already know what we do. So we don't have to explain that over, an hour-long call is now should be a 20-minute call, because they already know what we do. We're trying to answer all their questions in advance that we know they're going to have, right? Pricing, being transparent with pricing. So transparency has really helped us along the way as well. So video has really changed the game with sales team. Like Josh and Ryan mentioned, that people are, at first are a little hesitant to be on video as much. But like Ryan said, we've been doing it for a while now, and everybody's a lot more comfortable with video.
And how we kind of set it up for, the sales, which they didn't want to do videos, but was, through the video art start and trying to do their own videos, talk through, just be comfortable in video, and be comfortable in Zoom. Where, Tyler's outgoing, so, typically he's fine with it. And that really wasn't so much pushback from a Zoom standpoint, but the videos and the emails, and, taking the time to address the doctor, with the wave,
There's so much better than an email, right? So reading a long email is one thing, but when you have somebody sending you a personalized video message, it's so much more engaging to that person. Somebody took the time to make you a video, to show you something, right? To educate you on something is so much better than that long-winded email that you don't know somebody's tone, right? So video has been a huge step for our sales team.
It's amazing how much you can pack into a 60-second video. How many paragraphs of text in an email can be a 60-second video. It's pretty darn cool. And it's easier to engage with, right? You're not just scrolling and scrolling. There was a point, Davey, I think you brought it up, and I want to throw it to Josh. You brought up how you're using this in a hiring process, and it sounded like you called it an academy. Can you take us through what that is, and then how you're using it?
Yeah. So when we started with using remote team members, so our team members that are out in the field, they're not right here in Savannah, Georgia. We needed to make sure that they were vetted and trained the right way in dental claim support systems and processes. Therefore, we created tons of video and courses and stuff like that. Now we've been able to use that, what we call the actual Dental Claims Academy. That's not just for inside people working with dental claim support. And it's for people that want to be educated in the dental billing field, but maybe outsourced dental billing isn't for them. It's not necessarily going to be for everybody. Therefore, but we still think that dental billing needs to be done ethically and more morally at the same time as accurately. So we teach it. You know, we're going to teach people the right ways to do it. And so we've been able to implement our new video strategy. We've been able to implement They Ask You Answer with Dental Claims Academy, because guess what? It can operate just like dental claim support. You can still write about what people need to know. You can still drive people to Dental Claims Academy. And the two don't actually hurt each other. If people come to dental claim support and outsourced dental billing isn't for them, then guess what? Our sales department and Tyler can talk to them about educating them that might help them. You know, this is another thing that they can do in order to make sure that their office is profitable and doing it the right way. So we've been able to utilize videographer already, video, everything we've learned with our Dental Claims Academy too. And you know what, if we started another business, we're going to do the same thing.
And, you know, it's a lot easier and more efficient than, you know, when Connor just starting today, go ahead and sit down and read this, you know, manual for how to do, you know, X, Y, and Z or dental billing. Whenever I can shoot a video, show you what to do, you know, and, you know, here's my process. So take it and run with it. That's kind of
taking a lot of time off. It's taking a lot of time off of Josh too in training. That you know, he made a video one time or a few times, but not every single week. He's not having to do the same trainings over and over and over.
How, if you were to put a number on how, let's say, how many days it's eliminated from that onboarding process to getting on the job and being able to do it, do you think you could quantify it in some way? I'm just curious.
Yeah, we have the numbers. It used to take somebody to get from hiring to completely offboarded roughly 36 days. And now we can go through the hiring process within 5 days to 7 days. We do have a long hiring process. Just want everybody to know that it's about 9 different steps. But that being said, they go through in 5 to 7 days. And then we have now started to average roughly 9 business days in the training. So from 36 days to 16 days. So you can do the math. It's not to mention it's more effective. It's more streamlined. There's less time throughout my day and our hiring manager's day and our trainer's day. They come ready to go. The other thing is our billers are ready to rock and roll day one with an office rather than stop in and have more checks, have more questions. They can revert back to a video that is in a sense their inbox. So it's everything is just far more streamlined. It makes more sense. It's far more effective.
It's available all the time.
All the time.
It's
pretty easily
awesome.
Repeatable. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, it's so smart. It underscores a point that I think we've come close to, but it's worth saying that there's a lot of upfront effort, but once you make that effort, you build that library, you create that content, it can keep paying dividends. You know, Davey, you said before, you stop paying Google ads, you know, your results are gone like that, but you build these onboarding materials, you build these sales enablement materials, you build this content, and it's just going to keep accruing results for you.
Well, I mean, it's impact plus, you know, as well with y'all, as long, you know, DCA's, you know, kind of like that with us. So, you know, and that's what we've, you know, learned. And that's another thing that, you know, we learned through y'all, you know, and impact as well. So it's been a great journey.
I remember having a conversation with you, Josh, few months ago, several
Mhm.
months ago now, about setting up that kind of membership side of the business. But
Yeah.
what's so cool about where you're at is the Dental Claims Academy isn't set up for your core customer. It's set up for the opposite, but you're still able to not only generate revenue, but they come to trust your brand and your business as a voice in the industry that they need to be listening to and learning from, which again, down the road, they're always going to think of you first, right?
Yep. Absolutely right.
It's pretty wild. So gentlemen, as we're wrapping up, the last question, and I think we've already probably answered it, but I'm going to make sure that we get it laid out. What's the one thing that our audience needs to make sure they do as maybe they're getting started with this journey today? And I'd love to hear from each of you, and you can just say same if it ends up hitting the same, but I'll throw it to Ryan and then Davey and then Josh.
Yeah, I would say trust the process. And in talking to different people too, it's a different mindset. It's you have to get your mind wrapped around it. Trust the process, trust your coaches, and believe in it, and your team will follow. That's one biggest thing, and we really didn't hit on it too much here, but the coaches at Impact have really helped us get to where we are. Like you're not on your own. You really, you're learning through the whole process, and building on that process from the writing of the content. And you got to block and tackle first before everybody hears that. But, before you get to the videographer, and because we always, and as talking to Chris, we wanted to go ahead and start, the email campaigns. We wanted to go ahead and start, everything else, but we've got to get our content down first. We've got to drive people to our site first. But I would say, look, trust the process. The coaches are wonderful. And they're there for you. And it's not, okay, well, I get an hour today. You can reach out to them anytime. Hey, can you hop on a call for 5 or 10 minutes? I'm struggling here. And people might be, a little different about, well, I don't need a coach. Yes, you do. Everybody needs a coach. You don't know what you don't know. And so, Impact has been, and that's one big takeaway for me, because it's helped our sales team buy in. He's helped me, sales and the different tactics, and really, selling from that's really what I can talk to mostly on. But that's, that's one thing that really sticks out, with me.
Yeah, I would say buy-in from the leadership team. With us, the three of us owners were all bought in to Impact and Taya, and really kind of that filters down to everybody else to be bought in. So that was kind of the main thing. And then realizing that's not going to happen overnight, right? So you're not just going to organic search it and just going to take off overnight. It's about building that library, like John just mentioned. You got to build the library, right? But you got to learn along the way. And there was times where, we wanted stuff to happen overnight, and it's just not going to be like that. It's just not going to happen like that. So, but buy in, get the content manager, get the videographer in place, then have those folks learn from the coaches, right? So if I try and do it all myself, that's not really going to be impactful when I go hire a content manager or then go hire a videographer, because they just missed all that training from those coaches. So having everybody on those calls from the get-go really makes a huge difference, so that everybody's learning at the same curve. And again, just having everybody bought in from the beginning is crucial to making it work.
Well, I feel like it's Family Feud. Y'all took all the good answers. Just going back to reading the book, when you read the book, and this is nothing bad to say about the book, but it starts to end up being common sense to you. You start to go, well, no, yeah, people want their questions answered. So if we just do that and we're upfront and they trust us, then yeah, we're going to be a trustworthy company. And you've already kind of created that with a customer. So kind of going back to that is trust the process and understand that the process does work. Davey hit on buy-in. It's true. You've got to have everybody bought in. If you have that bad egg, like any other type of business, they're going to, try to drive that wedge into what you're trying to accomplish. And then it's just do the work. I would just go back to do the work. Don't start to cut corners. Oh, I did that one article this week. No, get the main 5 articles written, get your selling 7 done, get it done, and you're going to see it. You're going to see the results.
Josh, I think that's actually a compliment for the book. You're not knocking the book at all. Like the fact that it feels
Good.
so common sense, something that that really impresses me about They Ask You Answer is it's not gimmicks. It's not tricks. It's just treating customers right. Marketing should feel common sense because we all like to buy things. We all kind of like to learn about products and follow brands, but we hate being marketed to because marketing is done in the worst way ever. It's so often it's just a process that is terrible for the buyer. So if we can reverse that, it's common sense. It makes so much sense. Like we all hate getting spam emails. We all hate getting the hard sell. We all hate so you take that out of the business and the results follow.
That's correct, John.
Agreed.
Gentlemen, I've got to say this was a blast. We had a ton of fun. You shared so much with us and we really appreciate it. We're going to share some things in the description down below, maybe some resources to the Academy, to your website, so that we can make sure that our listeners can go and check it out, because I think you're a case study in the making here. And Ryan, I know that you mentioned that we didn't talk a lot about the coaching and training that you do here at Impact, but fun little tidbit for our listeners at home. We've got a case study on the way with the Dental ClaimSupport team. Our video team is flying out today as we're recording this, so it's pretty darn cool. So we'll make sure to stay tuned for that. But I can't thank the 3 of you enough. This was a fantastic conversation. I know our audience is going to love it. This has been another amazing episode of Solving Inbound with the journey of the Dental ClaimSupport team. Ryan, Davy, and Josh, thank you all so much. And to our audience, thanks for listening, and we will talk to you next time. Have a great one.